definitely personal development. You have to learn, because you are the guy. You're learning, you're doing, and all that stuff. But it goes too far. So I think relinquishing the reins faster. There's so many times where it's taken me too long on a startup because I didn't relinquish the reins quick enough. Because as a business builder, as a serial entrepreneur, you're building a business, man. So why? It's your own consideration. Like, oh, I need to take 6 months or 10 months, or I'm going to do in this time frame. Like, build a business, find someone, put someone there, and just do a very rapid, what I call hatting, or just rapid training on them, hatting, and get them on and get them doing it. And don't wait, so very clearly have that delineated, your allocation board, like, good, what series are you going to just start writing up the policies and procedures and turn them over as fast as you can find people. And that will help you scale that much faster.
Hey everyone, this is Devin Miller here with another episode of The Inventive Journey. I'm your host, Devin Miller, the serial entrepreneur that's grown several startups into 7- and 8-figure businesses, as well as the founder and CEO of Miller IP Law, where he helps startups and small businesses with their patents and trademarks. If you ever need help with yours, just go to strategymeeting.com, grab some time with us to chat, and we're always here to help. Now, today we've got another great guest on the podcast, Skye Logan. And as a quick introduction to Skye. So he started his journey doing a few startups during high school, grew up in the Ozarks area, and then afterwards went to California as he was graduating from high school. Thought about college, but ended up at a tech startup with a friend of his. After doing that for a period of time, I had differences of opinion as to the direction maybe to go and where they would head. So then started a detox for pharmaceutical med clinic, and did that for a period of time. Also got into some digital marketing company and real estate industry. And then wanted to focus more on the humanitarian aspect, if I can not get tongue-tied. And then partnered up and is currently the CEO running the business that he'll share a little bit more about today. So with that much as an introduction, welcome on the podcast, Skye.
Great, Devin. Thank you very much for the intro and having me on your show, man. I'm looking forward to a good conversation here. Absolutely
excited to have you on and to chat with you and hear your journey. So with that, I gave a quick run through a condensed version to a much longer journey, but let's rewind and unpack that a bit. So tell us a little bit about how your journey got started growing up in the Ozarks and doing a few startups while you were in high school.
Oh man. So the man, you're going way back on us here. So we'd
like to start at the beginning of the journey to make sure we hear it all.
Right. So single parent, single mom, several kids for quite a while. That's kind of how I grew up for a lot of the shaping years that I remember. Anytime I look back, I always remember that scenario, just mom and working 2, sometimes 3 jobs. And she was gone, from sunrise to sunset, like us 3 kids raised ourselves, these latchkey kids, right? Where one, it was in the Ozarks, much safer environment and stuff. So we were raised very independent, and I was raised very much. And I always kind of remember, like, son, you can have pretty much anything you want in this world. Just go get it, go earn it. Because she wasn't able, when you ask for this or ask for that, not being able to provide that kind of stuff. So her telling me that, and I remember, I'm like, you know what? That's a great idea. So kind of started, I can say I started working, but, it was a paper route. Back when I was 12, and I had that for many years. And I remember having these rubber band cash wads sitting around the house, and I would start using that for different things, and buying stuff, selling stuff, etc. Then my first job, I had my car purchased by the time I was 15 or 15 and a half, just sitting there waiting for that 16th birthday. And I had a job lined up, first job at Store One in Walmart. And been working since for sure. And I just realized, always kind of stuck with me. Yeah, just if you want something, go get it. The universe doesn't stop you, you stop you. So I love the opportunity and just that training alone. If nothing else, she gave me, being ethical and being moral, but just go get it, man. Don't sit here and do nothing. So I've always had that mentality in the Ozarks. So Yeah, man. Yeah, I went from there and then out to California. I had a buddy just said, always looking for more, just the thrill and experience of life, and I remember him saying, hey, dude, hey, California girls, Van Halen and all these guys say California chicks is where to go. So, and like, yeah. So at 17, I just left the house and we went out to California. I actually did my last year of high school out there, and the rest is history. You don't expect it, but 25 years later in California, married and kids and, various businesses. One thing led to the next.
No, so you go out to California after you're graduating high school, and then I think as we chatted, and as you mentioned, so you went into a tech startup with a friend or a buddy of yours. Now, kind of what was that, and kind of what direction, how long did you do that for?
Yeah. So yeah, that was fantastic. So that was hardware, mainly hardware. We buy these dead on arrival, these different systems, computer, these compact Reliant Toshiba systems and various things, and helped him take his little business from a little garage startup to a very large warehouse and employees and various things. And I was at the cusp. So this was in what, 90, 93, 94, 95-ish time period, right when internet was coming around. And I remember that AOL CD disc and, these various things and getting started. And a buddy of mine starting up one of our first internet businesses at that time. But anyway, so that tech company, we did really, really well. And it was just, again, hardware, fixing things up and reselling them, arbitrage kind of thing. So did really, really well with that. And that, as you said, the differences of opinions, and end up leaving that. Did really, really well out of that, and ended up, when I left that partnership, kind of just going into a volunteer basis for the next 13 years. I really like giving back. I love help. I definitely got into, when you start making a lot of money, many of us can tell stories of that first time when you came into a lot of money, right? You're a teenage boy and you're on your own and you come into a lot of money. What does that scene look like? And unfortunately, you make it and you lose a lot of it on just bad things, right? And you learn a lot about yourself, and it's magnifier money, or they say alcohol money, it just magnifiers whatever's going on in your universe, etc. Just blows it up. So I got lost for quite a few years, and just to keep that story very easy and clean, I got lost big time partying in San Diego and Tijuana and various things like that. And but then kind of changed, picked myself up, and just decided, I'm just going to give myself for quite a few years. And I did end up being about 13 years. So yeah, man, I realized in that giving back from just volunteer work and tutoring and various things like that in the drug area and stuff, we ended up going into opening up a detox, drug and alcohol detox. And we kind of really hit in the pharmaceutical industry. So we actually, a lot of our IP and a lot of stuff we generated, we realized that at that time, the pharmaceutical industry and detox and stuff, my own model, very holistic. When someone leaves a detox or leaves a rehab, they need to be like drug and alcohol free. Well, at that time period, the big conversation on this point, but they were leaving on more drugs than they were coming on, right? My clients, my biggest source of clients were from other detoxes, other rehabs, and they would come in, Devin, with these bags of meds. And I'm like, okay, what's this? What's this? What's this? And okay, so what did you originally start on? And, and it's just like 2 or 3 bottles kind of thing. And they were on, 8, 10. I'm like, oh my God, this is disgusting. So what we did was we would completely remove them off all medications and all that kind of stuff, using vitamin IV therapies and acupuncture and massage therapy and just all this kind of stuff. And I did really well with that, or we did really well with that. I built that up to 3 facilities there in California. And yeah, so did really, really well with that. Directly saved many lives. So I like that giving back. So that's been trained into me in anything that I do. Right.
No, that's awesome. Sounds like both a great business as well as a rewarding one, and the ability to give back and help a lot of people. So now, I think when we chatted a bit before, you did that for about 13 years or so, and then at some point you dipped your toe into or did real estate, or was a realtor and digital marketing for a period of time afterwards. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So I moved out of the detox, kind of moved off from that partnership and for that, and then moved into as a mortgage loan officer for a bit, realtor as well. Obviously, anything in the real estate industry, did digital marketing in that area, and I really wanted to dive into to that in real estate and holding investments and various things, and did fantastic with that too, as many people do. And I'm a great personality person, one-on-one. I can do a lot of sales from door to door to phone to this and that. So it was so easy, just good selling real estate and all that stuff. But the problem was, just for me, again, this is my story. This isn't anyone else listening to this story in your podcast here, that for me, I just didn't have enough high enough purpose in it. Just the hard work, right? I think I talked to you about that, or the podcast I got was on recently, that I call it heart work. And I just start, making money and doing all that and houses and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, hey, what am I here? Like, what am I capable of doing? Like, what do I need to be giving back to the planet and things like that? So I ended up moving out of doing the real estate for quite a while. So anyways, long story short, being the CEO, and I got offered the partnership and CEO position here at Philanthro Investors, where our portfolio companies, I have many portfolio companies, and I'm going to be expanding that up to 10s, 20s, etc., and the impact investment area. But I have real estate. I'm already in real estate, still in real estate. I helped build that portfolio up to, closing up to 700 houses. We provide needy houses, needy families and stuff. So I'm still in real estate. I'm still in a lot of these different areas, and I'm making money. But even greater than that, I have found purpose, and where I can create and I can help steer the conversation towards a global betterment a little bit more, at least what I feel I'm capable of. I think everyone needs to be able to, for me, it's finding purpose when you're lost. And I found many times where I crashed in my life, I didn't even realize I was lost. You wake up one morning and you're just like, man, what am I doing? Why am I here? And you reevaluate. You have a few times in my life where I've had a midlife crisis. And you just evaluate a little bit, like what you're doing and whether it's right or wrong, whatever, you just evaluate. And so me, I like to just kind of pivot and make sure I feel like I have a huge amount of skill and intelligence and drive to give back. And I should leverage that. You know what I mean?
No, it makes perfect sense. So now, as you kind of get into the more, the philanthropic and looking at that, giving back, and focusing on the humanitarian aspect and going in that direction as you continue on the real estate path, walk through a little bit, because I think you partnered up with someone and started your current business and started on that end. So how did that get going, and kind of what was that transition, and kind of what does that look like?
Yeah, so that I was actually living here in Puerto Rico. It's where I'm at now, and my wife is Puerto Rican. We have 6 kids. I know you've got 4. We got my wife and I, a little bit of a blended family, so we got 6 kids together. And so here in Puerto Rico, and I met a gentleman, Mr. Ivan Ans, who talked to me. I was in real estate, know him sales. I know he just knows of me, and he got referred to me somehow. Till this day, I don't remember how, but he had a business of the housing company, Equity and Help, in Florida, in the Clearwater area. And I ended up moving from Puerto Rico up to Florida, and I helped them with that and building up that portfolio and various things, and helped take that to 2-time Inc. 500 company as one of the executives there. And at one point, even the Inc. 5000, I think we're number 83, actually number 83 in the entire Inc. 500. So did really, really well with that, like number 3 in the real estate industry. So just crushed that as far as growth goes. And Then did that for quite a while, built that up, achieved the goals that I had there, and then moved off into my own, back into just being independent, just my own real estate, selling real estate, luxury, et cetera, in that Clearwater Beach area. And then Ivan reached back out to me on the umbrella, the mothership, if you will, the umbrella corporation over EquiHelp and all the other various portfolio companies is Philanthro Investors. And he just invited me in as a partnership and as a CEO of Philanthro Investors to kind of get that started up and grow that internationally. So that's kind of where I'm at now. And I'm back in Puerto Rico because we are actually incorporated, established here in Puerto Rico. And plus for tax reasons, I absolutely love it. So back down here. So that's kind of where I'm at.
No, that's awesome. So now, how long ago was it that you took over, or you went on and took the CEO role of Philanthro Investors, and what's that period of time been, and where's the company at today?
Not that long. So I came on in December of 2022. So I don't even have 6 months under my belt or whatever. I guess I do now. Don't even have a year under my belt as far as the CEO. So just kind of getting into all that, and as far as the structure and the fund and all that, just kind of gearing up for the expansion. So right now, my key focus is on structure, on the processes, on policies and procedures, and laying that out and the entire employee. It's a very lean team, and I intend on keeping it lean. But that's just where I'm at right now. And you understand that, I feel you work a lot of clients and things like that on different, wherever they're at. So that's kind of where I'm at in this journey, even though I'm dealing with, tens of millions of dollars of investments and my portfolio companies are already crushing it. So even though I'm in the startup phase, I feel like I'm in that startup phase. We're still immediately crushing a lot of numbers. So having a good time with that.
No, that's awesome. So now, kind of as you've been there for now over 6 months, not a year yet, where do you kind of see things headed? What's the next steps, or what do you kind of see the next 6 to 12 months looking like?
Yeah, 6 to 12. So yeah, I have I definitely have a 1, 3, 5, 50, and 100-year plan for the company, literally typed out. So the 6 month, I can't really, but a year, I definitely will have. So creating our fund, the MDF, the multi-donor fund to have. I intend to have that fully established. My end goal, my 5-year goal on that is getting up to $1 billion on our fund and having 25 plus portfolio companies under our belt in various areas. So we're in 10 different verticals that we like to focus in, that we call this coin term that Ivan, our founder, has, life essentials. So we want to kind of focus in, again, these areas that kind of really move the needle on a global scale. These things that you have to have. There's air, obviously. You got the rule of 3, right? 3 minutes with air, 3 days water, 3 weeks with food. So obviously, air, water, food's on the list. Education. We want to be in the vertical in the area of art. That's a bit of a niche because we definitely believe the aesthetics and art is a key thing. Don't want to get back into dark ages, and we want to have open communication and art and ethical art as well. It can be really horrible if you think about it. Anyways, housing, energy, structures. You have to have housing. You have to have a roof over your head. So these different areas, we want to have at least 25 companies, portfolio companies, and that 5-year target, and being at about $1 billion in the total fund.
Awesome. Well, no, it sounds like a lot of exciting things ahead, and a lot of great possibilities and opportunities. So it sounds like it will be a fun ongoing journey for you. So, well, now as we've reached the present day of the journey, and even looking a bit into the future, great time to transition to the 2 questions I always like to ask towards the end of each episode. So the first question I always like to ask is, along your journey, what was the worst business decision you ever made, and what'd you learn from it?
Yeah. Whenever you kind of hinted me, I'm like, oh, I have a list. I have a list of things that I can tell you on the worst decisions. Partners, not understanding. I'm a very trusting person, and I always go from the opposite scale maybe than some people are trained. Like, good, I'm going to give you 100% of my trust. out the gate until you prove otherwise. So very trusting, and that has led me when it's too much and it's a free for all, especially when you're younger. Good. I'm 18, I'm creating business. I'm 20. I don't have all that experience and I don't know what to look for in a bad partner, someone who's going to be, stealing money from you or various things. So I have gotten into two different situations where, you get into, one was horrible embezzlement situation, and I didn't have the processes in place to catch it, the checks and balances system, and it completely tore apart on one of the businesses I had. And you feel a sense of betrayal, just like you would in a spouse or partner, and just any betrayal, a friend, and it kills you. It kills your momentum, and you just feel like it just slows everything down because you feel betrayed. So on a social level, it just crushes your create. But not only that, for business, whenever you're out, no matter how much money you have, wherever you're at in your startup process, it's when you're broke, it's tough. When you're not doing payroll, you can't cover payroll, and you're looking to sell your cars, your personal possessions to cover payroll, or you're having to figure out who to pay, which one of your employees has the most kids and is so far behind and has to feed people. And you start getting really behind on that whole thing, and it's a lot of stress spiritually on you. It makes you stronger for sure. You make it go right. So you learn, one, it helps you develop this serious make it go right under stress. So I learned from that. And two, you definitely learn how to put this checks and balances in, and what's the indicators to watch for, because it never comes to you as complete evil, right? It's very friendly, very whatever, and it'll just take you down. So you got to be able to think with that and be ready.
No, I think that's definitely some good mistakes to learn from, and sounds like helpful on the journey. So great answer. So now, second question I always like to ask is, so now if you're talking to somebody that's just getting into a startup or a small business, what would be the one piece of advice you'd give them?
Don't, again, quite a few big lists on this. I'm huge into personal dev, and I try to get through one at least a book every couple of weeks type of thing. And definitely personal development. You have to learn, because you are the guy. You're learning, you're doing, and all that stuff. But it goes too far. So I think relinquishing the reins faster. There's so many times where it's taken me too long on a startup because I didn't relinquish the reins quick enough. Because as a business builder, as a serial entrepreneur, you're building a business, man. So why? It's your own consideration, like, oh, I need to take 6 months or 10 months, or I'm going to do in this time frame. Like, build a business, find someone, put someone there, and just do a very rapid, what I call hatting, or just rapid training on them, hatting, and get them on and get them doing it. And don't wait, so very clearly have that delineated, your allocation board, like, good, what series are you going to just start writing up the policies and procedures and turn them over as fast as you can find people, and that will help you scale that much faster.
Awesome. No, I think that's definitely a great piece of advice and a great takeaway. So, well, now as we wrap towards the end of the episode, if people want to reach out to you, they want to be a customer, they want to be a client, they want to be an employee, they want to be an investor, they want to be your next best friend, any or all of the above, what's the best way to reach out to you, contact you, find out more?
Yeah. The fastest is pi.today. Just go to that'll start the process. Reach out to my president or my assistant, or directly to me, but pi.today will start that journey.
Awesome. Well, I definitely encourage people to reach out, support a great business, and if nothing else, make a new best friend. So with that, thank you again for coming on the podcast. It's been fun. It's been a pleasure. Now, for all of you listeners that are out there, if you have your own journey to share and you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, we'd love to have you. So just go to inventiveguest.com, apply to be on the show. A couple more things as listeners, make sure to click share, subscribe, leave us a review. Helps us to reach even more startups and small businesses to help them along their journey to success. And on that note, if you ever need help along your journey with patents or trademarks or anything else for your startup or your small business, just grab some time with us and go to strategymeeting.com. Always here to help. Thank you again, Skye, for coming on the podcast, and wish the next leg of your journey even better than the last.
Absolutely. Thank you, Devin.